Hey YouTube, Narcissist Eugene again. As I said, I was coming back after PT, physical therapy. I'm gonna make this video on the go as well because if I wait until I have time to sit down in a quieter environment, it probably won't get made. I just want to say this while it's on my heart. To emphasize on what Denzel Moss said yesterday, nobody's home. I'm gonna title this video you are like a temporary job to the narcissist. And to be clear, a temporary job. You're not a full-time job. Let's use the analogy of a temporary agency. And I'm sure some of you guys can relate to a temporary agency. If you haven't worked for a temporary agency, they're essentially a middleman that recruits, let's say Walmart, they recruit employers or employees for various companies. Let's say they're recruiting employees for Walmart. And temporary agencies are just that. You're not there for the long haul. You're not a permanent fixture in the company in which they send you to. Now, as it relates to the narcissist, that's what you are to them. You are a temporary assignment for them. And that's what they call it, assignments, when they send you on these jobs through the temporary agency. And they let you know out the gate, contrary to a narcissist, they won't let you know that this is just a temporary. They're just passing through. They're just window shopping. If something catches their eye, which is you, if you're grade A supply, the temporary agency lets you know that you're going to work there for a specific amount of time. Now, they let you know, as opposed to a narcissist. So, it may be a 90-day assignment, it may be a 6-month assignment, it may be up to a year assignment. In very rare cases. Now, the catch to that is, a lot of times these temporary agencies, I'm going to stop here and get something to drink, but all that shaking and stuff on the camera will cease for a moment. So anyway, the temporary agency will, however, let you know if the company wants to keep you after a 90-day probationary period, they have the option to hire you on as a full-time employee. Now, what that does, once they hire you on as a full-time employee, take the Walmart assignment as an example. Walmart will, in and of themselves, employ you. Thereby, you don't have the temporary agency doesn't have any liabilities or assumes no responsibilities for you thereafter. Now, when you were temporary agency property, they actually are in control of your pay. They write your checks. If you get hurt on that job, they're responsible for the liability claim. So that's the benefit in these companies hiring through a temporary agency. They don't assume no liabilities for you, for the most part. And what that does is it keeps the medical and liability costs down for the company, and the temporary agency assumes all the loss or all the liability, if there should be any. Now, the narcissist doesn't assume any liability. They don't take responsibility for an accident, whether it was their fault, your fault, our fault as a whole, as a couple. They won't take responsibility for the failure of anything. But they will take all the credit for the success of anything, whether they contributed to it or not. So a temporary agency does that, and this is what the narcissist does. They come in your life, and unbeknownst to you, they'll make you think that after 90 days, the love bomb phase, that they're going to hire you on. They're going to build with you. You're going to retire and grow old with them. And I'll tell you, some of these temporary agencies will even give you that illusion. So in essence, they are built upon narcissists or narcissistic disorder. So the cost of doing business in America, I just tell you, man, it's getting worse and worse. But that's a story for another time. And being that I'm using that as to tie into this, companies in America at large, and this is my opinion, and if you don't see it, that's fine. We're getting worse and worse and worse at even faking like we care. Government, employers, companies will make you think that they're there for you. Open door policy, which is a joke. The narcissist is only in your space temporarily. And as Denzo talked about, and this is something you'll know if you are survivors of this atrocious disordered abuse, you will recognize that when they're talking, you have to pay attention, because we are all looking for, we all have hope that there will be happiness for us with somebody else in life. And I hope if you have given up on that you kind of reconnect with yourself and know that you are the best thing ever happened to the narcissist. You are a beautiful person. You are a person that I don't want to say deserves. You are a person that very well have the ingredients for a beautiful life with someone. If you're bringing a wholesome, authentic self, and to want and yearn for a person on the other side of you to share that with, that's a beautiful thing. That's angelic. That is a God-given right. That is a God-ordained reality. He wants us to procreate. He wants us to be a partner with someone and live a very wholesome life. And don't give up on that. I haven't. And I had just told Denzel Moss I had endeavored with a girl here just recently. It lasted probably 2-3 days, and I knew it wasn't going anywhere in the first place. I actually gave him a heads up ahead of time to let him know, and I tried to get some input from him, and he gave me his well wishes on it, and which is a beautiful thing, and the point is, it didn't end up being anything. I could see everything happening as it was happening. To sit as an empath and see a narcissist at work, it is a very, very liberating thing. And as Denzel Miles, back to what I initially was trying to say, he spoke of when they talk to you, they are not connected to the conversation at all. They are not there. They're pecking on their phone. They're actually looking off in the wild blue yonder. They are easily distracted. They can't give you any input, or not input, they can't respond in regards to the conversation you're having in a real meaningful way. It's all surface stuff. So that's the key. Look at how they respond to what you're talking about. If they give you half-hearted responses to the conversation you're having, that tells you one thing. I would have said two things. They're mentally retarded. Well, they are, but spiritually retarded. But they're not equipped to do this, because understand, they have deserted an authentic self, which was a self that developed, it evolved, it introspected, it grew up, it saw, looking back at their life, as the childish things they did when they were younger. This is a healthy person, not a narcissist. they look back at the things they did when they were young, and they say, man, and they look around them and they take cues from the environment and people that are doing great things, positive things, progressive things, things that have that show the growth. They look at that, a healthy person does, and they emulate that, and they pattern their life after that. As opposed to narcissists, they look at that same picture and they see a deceitful way to achieve those characteristics, because they're only adopting those traits or those characteristics that they're taking in from people, places, and things as a ruse, as a facade. They're not trying to adopt these things to become an authentic, real, genuine, sincere person, because they've adopted fantasy, they've adopted fictitious, they've adopted phony facade early on. So they have more than mastered the art of deception. They can take the best thing that is good and they will tarnish it, they will turn it on its head. Now, there is a narcissist being created right there. That is a narcissist mindset right there. You don't need a PhD to do this. You don't need to have fancy words as to what their chemical makeup is. This is spiritual. Denzo and I, we tell you this all the time. This is nothing but spiritual. If you want to adopt the academic terms to be able to better express yourself here on these platforms, I don't see a problem with that, because there are terminologies that help us understand in a tangible way that this is a chemical thing going on in that brain. The serotonin, the dopamine hits, which is the same thing we all have when you're having sex, roller coaster ride, motorcycle ride, skiing, anything that gets the heart pumping. And this is what the narcissist seems to seek after. They need that blood pumping at rapid rates all the time, because they have no brakes on their car. They are just they're just on the chase. They're on the chase. They're driving their cars mentally at 100 miles an hour, and it's a sports car getting 5 miles a gallon, and they're stopping at every gas station on the block. Whether they got a half a tank of gas, full tank of gas, quarter tank of gas, they need more fuel. Even if they got a full tank of fuel, they're stopping at your gas station. Remind me of the Jody Arias case. They're stopping just to put gas, fill gas cans and load up the car. They want gasoline, they want fuel supply on tap. Now, these analogies I'm using, sometimes they connect us with what we're really dealing with the narcissist. Now, that being said, this is a temporary job. This is a temporary job. And they're interviewing you for the position. And if that 30 days or that 90 days probation, if you make it through there, show up on time, do what they want you to do, roll over, sit, bark, do the things that the narcissist wants you to do. And if you are something of a sort that has a very large return, you have something that seems to be consistent in your life, that they can garner financial, social status, attention, anything and everything such as that, if it can give them the limelight just by being associated with you, they're on it. That's what they're all about. They cannot create any ideas for themselves. Not any. School bus behind me. But that's kind of all I want to say about that, because I can go round and round in circles with that. But that is what they are. They are an agency that hires temporary employees, and depending on how you impress the narcissist determines on whether you'll just do the 90 days or even less than the 90 days. In my case with this last one a few days ago, it only lasted probably 2-3 days, and when you say lasted, it was over before it began. Because and you ask yourself, well, why did Calvin, why did you even endeavor to go into an interaction with this person if you had a strong vibe that they were a narcissist? Well, in life, I believe going forth, I do believe in the benefit of the doubt. And for two, knowing what I know, being able to see if my suspicions and my intuitions are correct, that's the risk that I was willing to take. And these narcissists, some of them, they have physical attractions. They do have somewhat of a conversation that you are eager to see if it's consistent with what they're bringing to the table initially, and you find out very quick that it's not consistent. And then again, you go further and further, because now I want to see not just how bad they are, but just how good they think they are with regard to the manipulation. And it always ends with, oh, you won't let me speak, when in fact you're calling them on something that they said that they were consistent about. And in this case, this girl said she's a homebody. She never really likes to go out if she ain't working. It was anything but that. This girl stayed in the street so much. Every time she called me, she'd be on the go. And what she's doing, telling me a laundry list of what she's doing. I'm on a machine. I'm at work. I'm doing things for my company, and I work full time. So I'm either on the skidster or doing something that's noisy, and I give them the few minutes that I think anyone deserves to say, hey, yeah, good, that's nice to know. But they would rattle on a laundry list of their importance. Oh, I had to go here, I had to drop a plate off here, oh, da-da-da. And she initially began to talk about how much she wants to be rooted in God, in the church, and she's saving herself for her husband, blah, blah, blah. They adopt authentic things that we as people of character like to aspire to be. They don't aspire to be anything but a hoodwink deceiver, a hoodwinker. So that being the case, you end the thing on a note of they hung up the phone, or they hang the phone up. That's an MO of theirs. Don't call them back. They called the other day. I didn't answer it. I'll probably cross paths with them again. Just put it this way. When you endeavor to go involved with one of these people, even if it's for a little bit of independent research, just be mindful that it's like a stench or stepping in a pile of poop. It won't easily come off of your foot. So just know you got to be willing to accept what comes along with it. And there's more to come with this person. I probably will be doing a recording if she calls me again. I should have done the first time she called me. I was laying in bed and I had an extra phone. And I'm going to do this simply because I need to share in real time with survivors out here what you're actually hearing. And you'll be able to do a couple of things. You'll be able to determine, just like they say, oh, he's narcissist, he's this, he's that, how they project what you or what they are to you, and they assume what you are and take your traits, or they try to. You'll be able to determine how these things play themselves out. And when you listen to some of these recordings, you will know that you're not alone. You'll know that you're not the only person that's dealing with this. You won't be ashamed of the fact that these people played you. You won't be ashamed and downtrodden and depressed anymore because you feel like you got played and nobody's gonna believe you. You don't have to have anyone believe you. You believe you. And if you stay here in these rooms with us, you don't need the validation of people accepting your story. we know your story, because your story is my story. My story is your story. There's nothing new under the sun with these people. That being the case, bless.